Hello, and welcome back to Astrological Insights. I'm Stephanie from Immersive Spirit, and I am so glad you're here. I've missed you these last few weeks. In the last few weeks, we've been moving through some genuinely tender, reflective territory. Mercury's still in post retrograde shadow, asking us to take it slowly, review what we've set in motion, let things settle before committing. Spring was arriving, that unmistakable surge of light in the mornings, but the invitation was still inward, still quiet, still preparing. This week, that bust wide open and changes. Not all at once, it's never all at once, but in layers, in a way that a fire starts. First a spark, then a catch, then warmth spreading out into the room. This is a week of sacred ignition, and it begins with something as soft and essential as the act of being nourished. Let me walk you through what's alive in the sky as we move into this week ahead. So, this week is the week of April 6th through the 12th, and we have a lot happening. On Monday, April 6th, Venus is conjunct Ceres in Taurus, with Venus sextile the North Node retrograde in Pisces. Venus is at home in Taurus. This is her sign, her domain. And this week, Ceres joins her there. Ceres, the great nurturer, the goddess of the harvest, of what feeds us at the most essential level. Together in Taurus, they ask the most fundamental question: what does my body actually need right now? Not as an idea, as a real sensory embodied experience. What makes this even more significant is Venus simultaneously sextiling the North Node. How you nourish yourself is not separate from your soul path, it is part of it. Before the fire ignites this week, and it will, we fill up first. Next, on Thursday, April 9th, Mercury exits that retrograde shadow. Mercury is stationed direct in late February, but has been retracing its steps ever since that, it's got that lingering quality of uncertainty. It's revisiting and not quite yet readiness in your thinking, your communications. Thursday morning, before most of us are even awake, that retracing fully completes. What this means practically: contracts can be signed, decisions can be made, conversations that needed to wait are ready to fully happen. So if you've been holding something back, maybe a commitment, a conversation, a next step, Thursday morning, it's your signal to move forward. Also on Thursday, April 9th, Mars is entering Aries. Mars in Pisces is the warrior in the water. It's motivation that flows but doesn't always cohere, desire that's genuine but diffuse. When Mars enters Aries on Thursday afternoon, that changes in a way that's almost a physical gut punch. Aries is Mars' home sign, and the warrior stepping out of the water and onto the shore is absolutely unmistakable. A spark, a surge, a return of that directional wanting that may feel like coming back to yourself after a really long absence. Notice what you suddenly feel ready for. That clarity is not incidental. It's Mars and Aries speaking your language again. And keep in mind, Mars immediately begins moving toward its Sunday conjunction with Neptune, meaning this new fire is already infused with some spiritual vision ahead. The warrior comes home and is immediately asked, what are you fighting for? Neptune insists that answer is going to be something sacred. That moves us to Sunday, right? April 12th. Mars will conjunct Neptune in Aries. Mars wants to act and initiate, move without hesitation. Neptune dissolves the edges, dreams expansively, and connects us to something larger than ourselves. When they meet in Aries, the result is electric and it asks something of you. The highest expression of this conjunction is the sacred warrior, someone who acts from genuine spiritual alignment, not reactive urgency, not performing purpose, soul led action. The risk Neptune always carries is acting from illusion, burning intensely but without real direction. As the week closes and this conjunction perfects, ask yourself, what am I being called to do? And does that call come from my soul? Thursday, we also have that third quarter moon in Capricorn we don't want to forget about. The third quarter moon is the lunar cycle's natural clearing point for us, the moment before we begin again. In Capricorn, the questions it's asking us isn't about our emotional release or spiritual vision, it's structural. What habits have become obligational? What are you maintaining out of inertia rather than like genuine alignment? This moon arrives in the same breath as Mars ingress into Aries, and the layering is intentional. As that warrior ignites and prepares to move, the moon says, but first, put down what you no longer need to carry. Start with a clean slate. All right, so let's get into the by day for this week ahead. On Monday, April 6th, that early morning is deep and searching. The moon in Sagittarius is making a sextile to Pluto and Aquarius, and dreams carry a powerful, transformative quality to them. If you wake early and feel a kind of underlying knowing of or intensity, that's the moon Pluto field doing its quiet work. By 6:02 a.m., the moon's trining Saturn in Aries, and there's a grounded, purposeful quality to these early hours. This is a good morning for rising with intention, setting the day's structure before the world comes online. By 10:05 a.m., the moon squares the North Node retrograde in Pisces, creating a brief tension between Sagittarius's expansive, forward-looking optimism and our soul's pull towards something more spiritually aligned. Let that tension be information rather than friction for you. What is your intuition saying beneath all the enthusiasm? Then the afternoon shifts everything. Venus conjuncts Ceres in Taurus at 1:21 p.m., and the invitation is to stop, soften, and tend yourself. This is an afternoon for pleasure, beauty, nourishing food, time with the earth, and the radical act of caring for yourself without needing to earn it first. Some highs, that Venus Ceres conjunction in the afternoon, and the moon trining Saturn giving a purposeful morning structure. Some lows, the moon is squaring North Node, may create a brief mid morning pull or restlessness. Overall, the tone is grounded and deeply nourishing. The body just wants sensory pleasure and permission to slow down. Sounds like a good Monday. Tuesday opens with a warm sunlit feeling. This moon in Sagittarius is trining the sun in Aries at 5:05 a.m. and the day carries that natural forward momentum that's going to ask very little of you in terms of effort. This is one of those days that feels like it's working with you. An early morning for movement, time outdoors, following creative impulse, right? At 8:53 a.m., Juno and Aquarius sextiles Neptune and Aries. It's a quietly beautiful aspect for relational and spiritual dimensions of life. Juno governs sacred bonds and commitments. Neptune connects us to the divine and dissolves that distance between all of us. Their meeting invites you to see your relationships through a more spiritually spacious lens, not just circumstance, but soul agreements. Who in your life feels like they are there for a reason that's much larger than coincidence? The moon squares Mercury in Pisces at 10:44 a.m., creating a brief friction between that emotional optimism and thinking that is still somewhat foggy or unclear. Hold space for that fog today. Mercury is still in the last days of the shadow period, and clarity comes in full on Thursday. Don't push for precision in important combos quite yet. The day closes beautifully, and the moon trines Chiron in Aries at 10:15 p.m. And that's going to offer a quiet integration, some gentle self-compassion, and healing before sleep time. Highs, we got the moon trine sun, which is a genuinely bright, alive morning, and the moon trine Chiron, which is some healing. Evening lows, we've got that moon square Mercury, and it may muddy communication through mid-morning. Overall, our tone Tuesday is adventurous and healing. Relationships and spiritual themes are present. The pre-dawn hours carry a restless edge for us on Wednesday. The moon in Sagittarius squares Mars in Pisces at 3:51 a.m., and sleep may be interrupted by urgency, heat, or a sense of some inner friction. Give yourself grace in the early morning. By 6:04 a.m., the moon enters Capricorn, and the emotional register shifts from fiery and expansive to grounded and task-oriented. There's a practical, structural quality to the day now. The morning standout aspect for Wednesday arrives around 10:11 a.m., and that's Mars in Pisces sextiling Uranus and Taurus. And this is a genuinely liberating and really inventive spark because this aspect says the old way of doing things is not the only way. Where you've been operating on autopilot, doing something out of like the habit or out, where have you been doing that out of habit than out of genuine alignment or effectiveness? Today, that breakthrough is available for those who stay with it. Experiment, try the unconventional approach. Let something that's been stuck find a new channel for you. The afternoon and evening have a heavier quality. The moon squares Neptune in Aries at 11:05 a.m. Some fog or boundary confusion may arise. And then Saturn in Aries at 7:16 p.m. A sense of weight, duty, or limitation may settle in. These are not crises. They're invitations to be patient and just be gentle with yourself. Our day closes with the moon sextiling the north node retrograde in Pisces at 10:21 p.m., quietly reminding you that even the discipline and difficulty of today is in service of something soul meaningful. So our highs, Mars sextile Uranus, is a genuine breakthrough aspect with real creative potential. Our lows, we've got that moon squaring Saturn, and we've got Neptune, which can bring, and Neptune squaring Neptune as well, which can bring heaviness and which is going to be more mid to late day. Overall, our tone is going to be disciplined and transitional, kind of breakthrough energy, which is available if actively sought. All right, so let's move on to Thursday because it's our most significant day of the week and it comes in layers. Before most of us are even awake, Mercury is exiting that retrograde shadow at 5:42 a.m. The mental fog, the lingering quality of uncertainty and revisiting that has been with us since middle of February fully lifts. The morning opens gently with the moon in Capricorn, trining Venus in Taurus at 6:26 a.m. It's a graceful sensory harmony that makes morning self-care feel especially meaningful. Let it. Then at 1:36 p.m., Mars enters Aries, and you may feel it. It's a spark, a surge, a clarity of desire, and a readiness to begin that may have been missing for weeks. Notice what you suddenly feel motivated to do. Notice what you want to initiate, begin, say yes to. The warrior has come home, and the fire is lit. The afternoon brings the moon opposing Jupiter in Cancer at 3:10 p.m. Jupiter expands whatever it touches, so emotions may run very large today. Be mindful of overextending, overcommitting, or making decisions from emotional amplification. The energy feels big. Stay grounded in your body. At 10:51 p.m., that third quarter moon arrives in Capricorn. What are you releasing? What structures, habits, or obligations have you been carrying more of your energy than they deserve? Before that new cycle begins, let something be set down. Our highs, Mercury shadow clearing, right? And Mars entering Aries, Moon trine Venus in the morning. Our lows, we've got Moon opposite Jupiter, which may amplify the emotions a bit in the mid-afternoon. Our tone overall is activating and releasing, a genuine turning point. Something's beginning and something else needs to be let go and laid down. After Thursday's pivotal shifts, Friday carries an integrative opening quality. The moon sextiles Mercury in Pisces at 5:44 a.m. And thoughts now are going to flow with some genuine clarity. It's good for writing, planning, and quiet reflection. At 10:37 a.m., the moon squares Chiron in Aries. The new energy of Mars in Aries is beginning to stir places that have been dormant for us. And Chiron's going to notice what still needs some tending to, right? That's that wounded healer. An old wound around courage, identity, or the right to want what you want may surface here for you. Acknowledge it. It's part of the clearing, not an obstacle to it. By 4:23 p.m., the moon trines Uranus and Taurus, bringing an inspired, innovative quality to the afternoon. Fresh ideas, unexpected solutions, a sense of creative freedom. At 5:55 p.m., that moon enters Aquarius and the emotional field lifts from personal and practical to collective and visionary. Something in you opens to the bigger picture, to community, to what you're building alongside others. The evening is lit up. The moon sextiles Mars in Aries at 7:50 p.m. The new fire of the week meets that communal field feeling, and Neptune in Aries at 10:58 p.m. And that fire meets that spiritual vision. Friday evening is a beautiful time for gathering, for inspired conversation, for creative collaboration with people who truly see you for you. Our highs for Friday, the moon entering Aquarius, inspired evenings, moon Mars and moon Neptune sextiles, moon trining Uranus. Our lows is that moon square in Chiron may surface some tenderness mid-morning, right? Tone overall is innovative and visionary. Deep community and collaboration are deeply favored. On Saturday, the day opens in the depths. The moon conjuncts Pluto in Aquarius at 4:22 a.m. and the collective unconscious is stirring. Dreams may be vivid, searching, and revealing. The early hours carry a charged quality. As the day brightens, Mercury conjuncts Pallas in Pisces at 10:53 a.m., and this is one of my favorite aspects of the week. Pallas Athena is the goddess of wisdom and strategy. But in Pisces, meeting Mercury, her wisdom does not arrive in logical arguments or data points. It arrives as felt knowing, as the sense in your body before your mind has words for it, as the thing you know without quite knowing how you know it. Today is a day for trusting that kind of knowing. Your deep, wordless, somatic intelligence is speaking clearly today. Listen. The day closes with the moon squaring Venus in Taurus at 11:43 p.m. A gentle tension between the Aquarian collective pole and your own personal need for comfort and beauty. It's not a major challenge, but worth noticing if you find yourself caught between what others need and what you need. Some highs, Mercury conjunct Pallas is a beautifully wise aspect for intuitive strategy. The lows, we have that pre-dawn moon Pluto conjunction, which may intensify your sleep. Then we've got the late moon Venus square tone. And then the tone overall, we've got deep and strategic. And we're going to have that just knowing you need to go with the somatic, trust what you know, even without being able to explain the why of why you know it, without ever being able to explain it. We wrap Sunday, April 12th. It's the week's culminating threshold, and it deserves to be met with reverence. The morning opens with Venus sextiling Vesta in Pisces at 11:06 a.m. Vesta is the goddess of the sacred flame, of devotion and inner priestesshood, of the one who tends the fire so it never goes out. Her sextile to Venus invites a devotional quality into how you begin the day. Slow down, light something, honor what you're stepping into. The afternoon flows with the moon in Aquarius, sextiling the sun in Aries at 1:47 p.m. It's harmonious, social ease, good for light connection and creativity. The evening moon sextiles Chiron in Aries at 8:20 p.m., offering us a gentle healing as the day moves toward a close. And then at 11:30 p.m., Mars makes its exact conjunction with Neptune in Aries. It's the week's final, most spiritually complex transit. The warrior meets the mystic. The fire meets the sacred waters. Mars wants to go, to do, to initiate. Neptune says, yes, but for what? In service of what vision? The highest expression of this transit is the sacred warrior. Action that arises from genuine spiritual alignment, not reactive urgency. Movement that is soul-led. Initiation that knows its own why. As the week closes and many of us sleep through this exact alignment, hold your intentions consciously. Ask, what am I truly being called to do? And does that call come from my soul? The highs have Venus sextiling Vesta, which is giving us the morning devotional quality. Mars Neptune offers the sacred warrior threshold. Our lows is that late night Mars Neptune can blur clarity if our intentions aren't held consciously. Overall, the tone is devotional and visionary. It's a sacred threshold where the fire meets its purpose. Zooming out, this week is a week of sacred ignition, and the arc of it is worth holding all at once. We move through the warm and nourishing depths of Venus and Ceres, tending the earth of our values. We clear the last of Mercury's fog. We release what we don't need to carry forward in that third quarter moon. And then Mars comes home into Aries. The spark strikes, the fire is lit, but the story doesn't end at the ignition. It ends at the altar. Mars immediately moves toward Neptune, and the week closes with the understanding that this new fire, the surge of wanting and initiating and beginning, must be directed by something larger than urgency. It must be sacred. It must be consecrated by genuine soul alignment. The invitation of this week is to become someone who acts truly, boldly, and fully, but who acts from a place so deep and so aligned that the action itself becomes the devotional practice. The sacred warrior doesn't move less, they move better from their center towards something real. Ask yourself as you move through the week, what is my fire for? As Mars enters Aries and prepares to meet Neptune, I want to know, what sacred action are you being called to take right now? What would it look like to act from your deepest soul alignment rather than from an urgency, a habit, or an expectation? And share with me in the comments below. Tell me, I genuinely want to know. That's it for this week. I'm Stephanie from Immersive Spirit. And until next week, stay grounded and keep looking up.